Welcome back to the Close of Play podcast.
This is it. This is Close of Play. I'm Ollie.
And I'm Craig.
We're your hosts. Enjoy this episode. Make sure you
like and subscribe.
See you soon.
Enjoy.
Everybody happy?
I'm really happy.
There we are.
I'm
Close
on
of
a
Play.
great day.
Hi, Hannah.
Hello.
Thanks
How
for
are
the
we?
thanks for the bit. Should we
Another episode. Shall we go?
Cheers.
Listen to
This
that.
is
AMSR.
Yeah.
Opening of cans. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
nice to see you.
Happy Friday.
I nearly got club all over the Roadcaster.
Don't do that, otherwise we'll sound not that good again.
Oh, it's chilled.
Yeah. Did you put them in the fridge before you brought them?
No, I stole them from the warehouse.
Oh, nice. Still cold though.
Ideal.
Thank you so much for making the time to come and join
Thank
us
you
and
for
come into the studio.
invite.
And thanks for the beer.
You're more
It's-
than welcome.
It's always enjoyable, even when it's cold.
Yeah.
best.
And it's Friday,
It's Friday.
and we'll probably just have a couple of beers and then start talking shit.
Yeah,
That's the idea.
probably the best episode ever.
The unfiltered podcast.
Yeah, that's what everyone loves it for. Thank you for making time to come on. I suppose we've bumped into each other kind of over the last couple of years and kind of seen what each other are doing, and I just kind of wanted to get you on to kind of hear your story to how you are where you are. And as far as Tiny Rebel, I think it's almost like everybody knows. I was in a bar in London and they had Tiny Rebel. Obviously, you're not shocked by that, but it's not.
You know, I am still shocked by it.
Really?
Honestly.
No,
yeah.
like,
It must go further than that. It's got to be a global thing now, right?
It's in Australia. So that's the nicest thing. Like, I went to school with some people and they post photos of them sat on a beach drinking Tiny Rebel. I'm like, that's nice. Or if I see someone walking down the road and they're wearing a Tiny Rebel t-shirt.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like a whole. It's not just beer, is it? It's like a brand now. It's
And
like,
I'm like, oh, that's
cute.
so nice.
the
Very humbling.
day one. How did you get in to Tiny Rebel?
Oh, it's like a half EastEnders story, this is.
Oh, that's the best
We've got
one.
time
We
for
got
it.
we got
got
bring the
enough
other
beers,
case
we've
of
got enough
beers
beers,
in.
we're
You
good,
two.
we're good.
We'll drink.
Go on. Yeah, tell it. Like, I want to know your story, kind of how you got to where you are, if you don't mind sharing.
From
Business wise,
business wise. So
what did you first do?
what did I first do?
Yeah,
I'll go back probably to school.
school. Okay.
And then I wasn't the best, not very academically.
Yeah.
I just liked going to school to see my friends, basically.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
one of those.
For the
It was a
social.
social.
I just plodded through
Yeah.
just to get. And then I decided I didn't want to go to uni.
Yeah.
And I went to school that didn't support you if you didn't go to uni. But I wanted to take a year out.
Okay.
So I wasn't allowed to like assemblies and stuff, but it was the best thing I did because I would have done biology if I had gone.
Yeah.
But taking a year out, it made me realise actually what work was.
Yeah.
And then I went to doing accountancy.
Nice. Were
So
you the only one
proper
kind of in your
geek.
group of friends doing that then? Because I
Yeah.
felt as though like everyone was almost like school, sixth form, uni, and I didn't want to do that. You almost felt like the one breaking the mold.
Yeah.
Oh, synergy.
Isn't it? But they don't encourage that.
No.
They actually like
It's the opposite.
beat you down. And I was like,
yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah, what do you mean you're going to uni? It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't want loads of debt, do you know what I mean? And actually, it's like probably your friends now, probably still paying the debt off.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
and ironically, a lot of people then went for the first year and they all dropped out within like 6 months. A load of people. I was like, you've just wasted time and money
Yeah.
when you've just had a year.
I had the best of both worlds. So my friends that went to uni, so I grew up just outside Manchester. So they went to uni. And the weird thing is, that it's like, it's not for uni, it's for the social. The social
Yeah,
was
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I used to like jump in on the nights out, like student nights, vodka Red Bull for £1 at Birdcage in Manchester. Do you know what I mean? And then just go back to my job. I mean, I was working.
I pretty much did that up to the age of 21.
Yeah, normal life, but hopping onto student life. So
Yeah, but that's good though. You get the most of both.
Yeah.
for sure.
It's mad because we've all got the same journey. We've all started off. None of us have gone to university.
No.
I did the same thing as you and hopped onto friends who went to university. So
Yeah.
trips down to Swansea most weekends.
nice.
But then took a manager pay at the age of 18.
Yeah,
When-
almost like started your like proper work life
Absolutely,
earlier.
yeah. And then years later, they all came out of university and struggled to get jobs at McDonald's. And I was progressing to project manager status and everything else, and
Yeah,
just kind of had a bit of a kick ahead, really.
yeah.
It's that difference bit, I guess. But I did take a year out, but I did then go back and do a university course for accountancy. But I did it in a different way. So everyone there was younger than me because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
went in a little bit older. But also I worked in an accountancy firm and did my degree. So
Okay.
I moved a full-time degree into like 3 days and then worked 2 days in accountancy.
Do you think
firm.
that helped you though, because you're getting that real world experience alongside it?
Yeah.
Where it sounds like a lot of work that you're taking on, you're having to congest everything into those 3 days. Actually, maybe that helped you, right?
I did, yeah. On one hand, I look back, it was absolutely bonkers because I was like 9 to 9 in uni every day. and then driving straight on a Wednesday, straight half day in uni, then straight to my job.
Yeah.
But then I loved that side, that work side, but I needed that academic side to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So
Did it
was the
almost
best
get a
of
bit
both.
annoying though, as far as like you almost had like the textbooks and the structure of the degree, but then actually like you were doing it real life.
Yeah.
So you'd see some stuff and you'd be like, I know a better way to do that, or I know I've got to learn about it, but I also know I'm never going to use that. Almost
Yeah.
like the school kind of mindset, as in like you're getting taught all these things, but like you've got real world experience as far as like you're doing the real life accountancy, and then you're almost doing like the textbook version of it for the exams.
Yeah, and it does teach you some stuff about, and then you see it in practice. So you get the balance of both, but then there's a lot in that accountancy
Yeah.
piece that is nowhere near real life and what
Yeah.
happens. So
And it's a lot. I'm guessing that was a period of your life where it's like information overload almost, because
Yeah.
you're learning on the job, and then it's almost like you're learning about how to do it to pass the exams as well.
literally exactly that. And I did it out of defiance because my maths teacher said I was shit
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't do A-level maths.
Yeah, look at her Hannah now.
Yeah.
So
Shame
then
on you.
Yeah.
Shame on you. Do you know what I
You're
mean?
doing
And I
this.
still remember him, and I think about it a lot, saying, actually, you did me a really good favour, because any doors that shut in that
Yeah.
way, it gives you that energy to go, I'm going to go and just do it anyway,
Yeah, 100%.
in a different way.
And you
So-
did it for yourself how you wanted to, which is
Yeah.
kind of the best way to achieve something, isn't it? So you qualified accountant then?
So then so that was finished my degree, and then I started doing my ACCA, which is a chartered
Okay, nice.
accreditation. And then started working, got married to Gaz, had Maggie, and then on Maggie's, he used to homebrew.
Okay.
This is where the
yeah.
Tiny Rob began.
Was
So
this in the garage? Was it started?
this was
or?
in our bath when it first started.
In the bath.
wow.
Oh yeah, I
In the
think I saw
bath.
that somewhere actually.
It's a long day at work and you come home.
And
Yeah.
it used to create so much mess, you drive me nuts. And
How long did it take though? Because you said it in the bath. It's like it's not just in there for a day, I guess. Like
well,
to
it
brew
is to brew it is a day.
Okay.
And then it's
Write
just
your
the
notes,
shit
do you
of
mean?
it. But
Anyway-
you've got to ferment it then in tanks.
Okay. So it
So
started
it's
off in the
just-
bath, and then what? Got the jugs out.
Yeah, literally.
It's like Breaking Bad.
It was like Breaking Bad, but go back. That would have been 12 years ago.
How mad's like talking to us about that now? As in like 11th,
reflection.
11th birthday, Tiny Rebel, and
I
like actually,
know.
it's like you remember how much mess it caused in your bath.
I remember
does
the
it
beginning
smell?
days. It smells of hops. Some people love the smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember,
It's one of
like,
them
in-
smells that you're like, that's just one of your
Yeah.
life smells now. Like there's always a smell of hops
And
around.
lots of people say now, when they went through, years ago, when they used to walk through Cardiff, they used to see brains and they could smell the brewery and all those sorts of things. I guess, yeah. And now at the Roger Stone site, you can smell. I don't
there's
know
a
if I'm
smell.
like immune to it now or.
Yeah. Whereas some people who've never been, if you haven't been, get down there.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a really overwhelming smell, isn't it? I suppose you just
Yeah.
get used to it. But
I think I'm just a bit used to it now.
so you were making beer in your bath.
So Gaz was making beer in the bath, and then
Yeah.
my dad was like, "Don't worry, I'll clear out the garage, and he can brew in there."
Nice.
And which was great. Then Brad started brewing with him. I was on maternity leave then with Maggie,
Yeah.
and started doing all business plans and forecasts. And
Yeah.
we thought
So
we
you were
could do
involved
something.
together, kind of. You were
From
almost
day
like
one, yeah.
doing like all
Yeah.
everything you could to kind of help him.
It was, and it was just looking at bank funding,
Yeah.
pulling together all the information to go to a bank, basically, try and get some money. So we couldn't get a bank loan because
Yeah.
we didn't have.
Did they not like the picture of the bath? They weren't.
they
They were
went
like,
into
I
it.
mean, we need a bit more. We need 2 baths for a bit of lending.
So we put a P&L together, and we were going to do everything through social media.
Yeah.
And at the time, social media was quite new, and they were like, "You need a marketing budget," and we were like, "No, we don't. We're going to do it all through social media." And they were like, "That's never going to work. We're not
Yeah.
going to support it."
Wow.
So we went to Bank of Dad, and then Dad lent us some money.
Yeah. How right were you though? Let's just like stop for a minute. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's almost so annoying because like old school banks and kind of structure is like, no, our business will work on social media, but because no one had done it, you didn't
Yeah.
believe it. Whereas now, like we had Zoe on from Trigwell Cosmetics, her business has blown up
I
because
was
of
just going
social
to
media.
say,
So,
I was
yeah.
going to ask you, like, if social media wasn't part of your plan, would you be where you are today?
Or do you think you just saw a niche, but almost like you were true believers in it, but like the bankers, they don't know what Instagram is.
Well, no, and they don't. Instagram, it was just Twitter at the time. That's how long ago it was. And I remember when we got our first 100 followers, we were bouncing around the kitchen.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we've got, I don't know, maybe like 50,000 or something now. So it's so different. But every single milestone is still as exciting as those first 100 Twitter
But you
followers.
believed in the fact that you were creating this brand and it was always going to be built on like social media and interaction and kind of like colourful designs, and
we just believed we could do something.
and that was like day zero almost. Do you know what I mean?
Day minus 2 years, I guess. Yeah.
So we left that bank behind. We don't need to name them. They're lost, or are you working with them now?
Well, no, they do. Everyone goes around in circles. So we still see these people now, and and at the time, then they come knocking on the door saying, can you bank with us? And I'm like, no, fuck off. But then I shouldn't hold grudges, but it's still a tentative.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
People don't forget.
They don't forget,
No,
exactly.
but then also it's like, we knew it was going to work, and like all you had to do is believe in us, and like you could have been part of our journey, where actually whoever did give you that loan, they're like your OGs.
But it isn't personal, is it?
No.
We have to see it on both sides.
Yeah.
They look at the numbers, the stats and everything else.
And I do feel the banking systems moved away from where they were way back then.
I'm with Starling.
Different.
You know Starling?
Yeah, I do.
They don't even have a branch.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So like I literally filled in a accounts form this morning for like a new supplier, and they were like, what's your bank's address? And I just put like the headquarters of their office, and it's like there's no bank there, do you know what I mean? But that's how far it's gone.
It has.
And I got a bank, so my business is with Starling, and again, because I'm the tightest person in the world, I love the fact they were kind of new and kind of, I thought, perfect for Hollywood. And actually, like, there's no fees. They don't charge me to have a business account. And if I want to send a check, I just send it to their office, and then someone on the computer kind of posts it in. But again, that was so new. It's kind of, they're so far ahead of the game. Like, I've got a personal account with Nationwide, and if I want to send money to you, I've got to get a card reader out.
It's ancient, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean?
It's so annoying.
That really pisses me off. Just because I know how easy it is. Do you know what I mean? And then, they'll probably say, oh, it's security, or it's...
They need a bit of AI, don't they?
100%. I fucking hate that card reader.
That would do my head in.
Yeah.
Although we are now with Lloyds. And
They got a card reader, have they?
I just log on the app every day and I'm like, have we got any money in the bank? So it is a little bit different, but I do think banks are changing. They
I think they've almost been forced.
Yeah. And
which isn't a bad thing.
They're an archaic
they've almost
institution.
It's definitely happening. Look at the high street. All the banks now are closing up. Everything's going online.
Yeah.
They invest in all the systems online so everything else can be more seamless. But it has been a very slow process.
Oh, yeah. My mum worked at a bank like her whole life, like a cashier, like proper old school banker. This was she wasn't a banker, but HSBC, she worked there like her whole life. And you go into a bank now and they've just got like a couple of staff. Like you can't speak to anyone. Do you know what I mean? It's all kind of, you want to put cash in? Yeah, there's a machine over there. It's almost like, it's like a front almost.
Yeah.
They almost know that you don't need to do it. And then some of them are closing at like 12 o'clock. I feel like their hand's been forced. But for reasons like your business, do you know what I mean? It's kind of, they've had to adapt because the businesses they're working with now, they need to get on board with the fact a business plan isn't like a 24-page document that you print out anymore. Do you know what I mean? A business plan is, we've got an idea, we know it's going to work. Like, who can we get funding from?
Yeah. It is so different. But also, as you get bigger, you need that relationship with a bank. So we've got...
Because you don't know everything either, do you? Like, do you know what I mean?
No. And if you don't know something you haven't done once, it's like, what the fuck is this? Or and it is your business, it's your baby.
Yeah.
That's how I see Tiny Rebel. It's
Treat as your baby.
Yeah, it's an extension of one of my kids.
Yeah.
So it's a kid number
But like
six.
But you've looked after it since day one. Do you know what I mean? Like together, you've kind of grown it from like something you two believed in to actually like now it's not 11th birthday, like absolutely smashing it.
And actually, we've just seen the 11th birthday gift as well.
Yeah, that's
do you want
cool.
to just tell the viewers what that is?
So if anyone's watching,
I haven't even tasted it yet.
It
You guys will drink it before
looks
me.
absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it, in all honesty.
so Hannah brought us the 11th birthday box, and like probably the best bit of packaging I've seen.
Yeah.
Like visually, and we've not even, you know, I mean, we saw that and we jumped straight on the pod. It's like, just as a guide, like if you haven't looked, we'll put a link to it below. But like one of the beers is 11%. And you can mix it with something else, and it tastes like a Jaffa cake apparently. So if you want to play your own Breaking Bad with a 11, with the beer box,
I don't even know how much it is, but it's worth it just for the unboxing experience, I feel.
Yeah, how much is it?
50 quid.
50 quid. But that's like a I try and say big words. And
It's actually so nice. I don't know if I drink it all.
momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah, like even if you drunk the beers, you'd probably put like the cans back in.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
actually, to be fair, the guys did amazing design on the cans. They're so different. It looks
Yeah.
wicked. It looks really good. So it is a bit of an experience.
Yeah.
That's
I have an origin story that I'd like to ask, or a question, to a story. Where does the bear come from?
Is it a bear?
It is a bear.
Okay.
So this is another story.
Okay.
So
Let's hear this.
Stories after, if you're interested, I mean, make your notes because this is the podcast that's going to reveal all the stories of Tiny Rebel
Exclusive.
that have never been spoke about before.
I know, and do you know, I can't even remember what I'm supposed to say. So I just tell the truth, and then I'm like,
Yeah, it's
no,
unfiltered.
it's not.
And then you go, oh shit.
We'll be
I
like,
get bollocked after.
yeah, we'll be like, oh, we just scheduled it, we just done the edit, and you'll be like, oh yeah, I've just spoke to the legal team, and turns out you know the bear.
Where did the bear come from? So when we started looking for a design, I'll go to the name first. So the name was we were coming up with some really shit names like
Can you disclose any?
Newport Brewery, Newport. They were awful.
You were really backing the fact we were in Newport. Newport Beer Company.
It was just awful. And then my brother, so I'm one of 5.
Yeah.
My other brother Lee used to live in New York, and he made computer games. So he used to work for Rockstar Games, made like Grand Theft Auto and stuff.
That's like GTA and stuff.
Throwing it
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. Wow.
So him and his wife, and they're both incredible at what they do. Geeky as fuck, and I don't really know.
I think you've got to be like once you
detail.
start getting into like computers, coding, like
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
but it's on another level. They're just fantastic, but just
you'd like our road to anyway.
Rockstar only employ the best as well. Like literally the best.
yeah, they were.
Are they based in
extremely
New York
good.
then, or is that just where he works for them?
So that they were in New York, and then they set up their own business because they wanted to branch out to like AI and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then they set up a business called Tiny Rebel Games.
No way.
Named after my nephew, because when he was born, they were like, he's a little tiny rebel, and that's how Lee called him.
Cute.
So Lee came home one Christmas, because he came home every Christmas, gave us his business card, gave it to Brad, and was like, look at my business card. And there was a sketch dead bunny on there.
Yeah.
And Brad's like, where'd you get that design from? And he's like, found it online. Found the designer, turned out to be Taz. Taz was living in Canada, was home for Christmas at Swindon. So we went and met her in a hotel on the motorway. It sounds so dodgy.
Where's this going?
Funny when you think of the story as it happened. It's
The
like,
origin story is actually
Met a
Complete
girl.
them.
as it comes to your mouth, you're like, yeah, so dead bunny, hotel, motorway.
girl.
Yeah.
And yeah, so from there met her and got on, and then she became our designer. She's still there now.
Wow.
She sketched the beer, so everything you see, whether it's in the bars, bit of art. So that artwork on the birthday box was Taz.
So the original like sketch is your current designer.
Yes.
Like, that's incredible.
I really like that.
As in like there's no crossover. Obviously, I'm guessing she's got a bit of more of a team maybe around her now.
No, still Taz.
Still her.
Yeah, so
Amazing.
still, she works from home and she just sketches.
For some people, that's enough, though. Obviously, there's mass opportunity for her to scale that up, but actually, for some people, that's plenty.
But then also
She's
for
just an
her,
incredible illustrator. Really good.
she smashed it day one. So
Yeah.
yes, it's year 11, but like it's iconic. I'd say.
I know, you
Do
see
know
it
what I mean?
everywhere now.
That's
Yeah.
it's almost like more than the wording, isn't it? It's like this recognizable. So yeah, is this kind of like as the more we get in depth, is it kind of this like OG team of like amazing people, and like it's still that same group?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Do you know what? It is actually still that same group. So still Brad, Gaz, me, Taz is still there.
Yeah.
We brought Mo in about 5 or 6 years ago. So he's now a commercial director.
Nice.
He's used to work for, dare I say it, Brewdog, Coca-Cola,
Boo.
Thornbridge.
No,
And
but
then-
big recognizable names.
Yeah,
As in
incredible.
like knew what he was doing.
and just knew the he had the love for the for
That's
the
what
brand.
happens on the podcast. We all just do a bit of Jonathan Ross every now and then. W's.
Throw a wobbly.
Yeah. But like he came in, and is it almost like as you've grown, like have you almost not felt lucky, but like the people that you've needed
From day one.
have they almost like just fell into the mix, or someone's known them? Because I guess like it gets to a
Yeah.
point where it's like, okay, commercial, okay, what the fuck's commercial mean for Tiny Rebel? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like you sat there one day and all of a sudden it's like the next person that you need on the team, just do someone know it? Are we kind of having to look externally and like, what are we looking for almost? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're still figuring it out as you're growing. Do you know what I mean? Is staffing kind of been integral to kind of...
Oh, huge. I mean, you can't do anything without a team.
No.
That's it. You know, I don't like hierarchies and shit. I don't look at a business like that. I look at it in the way of cogs. Everyone is a cog.
Yeah.
And everyone is so important, whatever level that is.
Yeah, whether you're working at the bar at the brewery or whether
Yeah.
you're HR or
wherever you are. If you're in warehouse,
I got
or-
that feeling from your social media as well. And I was watching a forklift driver do a very cool trick
Oh, that's
with
Tom.
a
So
bolt
Tom's
up.
been with us since we
There
started.
we go, see?
There's a lot of them. Is it kind of like when you know that the people that you've had on the team are good, Is it just kind of you've just made them feel like they're part of the team from day one, and
like
kind
a
of
family?
You've almost made them feel
Yeah.
as though like, yeah, we wouldn't want you to ever think of like looking elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? Because you're integral, and that ethos as you've grown is just almost like this family kind of culture, but now obviously on an absolutely incredible scale. But from your point of view, like it's still family.
Yeah.
It's a night. You know what I mean? It's like, even though obviously like you're having to pay all your family, but it's like the culture and knowing they were there and they helped when shit hit the fan on month 3. Do you know what I mean? But now it's like year 11. We're surrounded by this same group of people and we've done it together, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas other companies that grow, I guess,
This is what every company strives to do and achieve, but very
fails.
few get there. Absolutely.
And it is hard because, you know, you still try and keep the ethos of a business when there's 2 people when you start, and then now there's 165 people. So how do you keep that culture?
Yeah, checking in,
that
making sure everyone's
yeah.
all right. Because obviously, like your week now, like I know you said you're off to Birmingham next. Do you know what I mean? Your week now compared to like the week of when you moved into the garage from the bath. Obviously now it's like your calendar, like you know what you're doing next week because your calendar's full already. So do you think that's a hard thing to deal with staff, or have you kind of got someone in place now so that staffing kind of culture and worries almost is someone else's responsibility within the group?
Because it is a role in itself.
Yeah, we've got all that in place now for us, but it's an ever-changing beast and it's constantly moving, and you have to keep moving with a business because otherwise you don't grow and you don't keep the momentum, and you can't.
You've had to kind of adapt to every kind of decision point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Know whether to kind of invest or open a new bar, or we need 5 more staff. Like every decision, it's almost like what's going to be best for the company, but actually like what allows us to keep doing what we're doing well.
Yeah.
Rather than just grow, and actually like we're losing this and this on the way.
And that's the flip side. You've got to keep the integrity of the business, but try and keep the momentum of growth.
Yeah.
So, and it's just a balance of the both. And you're not going to do everything right. You're going to make loads of decisions that are wrong, or timing wasn't right, or you just try and look at the opportunities as you go. And sometimes it goes back to the business plan.
Yeah.
You can rip that up because if an opportunity comes up, it's not in your business plan. You don't say no to the opportunity.
100%.
So yeah, it's just a different way of working. And you just get those growing pains, I guess.
Yeah, 100%, especially like the way the amount you have grown. Do you know what I mean? It'd almost be weird to sit here and be like, yeah, year 11, exactly where we were going to be. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, we knew when we were getting the jugs out of the bath. Do you know what I mean? Like we created this 11th birthday box.
We did want bars, and that was probably another story. So we always wanted a bar, but I went out one Monday night weirdly with my sister into Cardiff. And do you remember 10 Feet Tall?
Yeah. I remember.
So we're in 10 Feet Tall, steaming. I don't know why we're out on a Monday. We were both mums as well. It was just ridiculous.
Student night, cheap drinks.
Probably. And then the administrators came in to close all the bars. What? So they closed Fire Island, which was...
As in when you were out?
Corner. Yeah, we're out. And we're in 10 Feet Tall.
What,
they're all owned by Beatbox Bars.
Okay.
Administrators come in to close them. So I'm like, what? Are you closing the one down the road? When we supplied Fire Island, they were like an American style bar with... barbecue food, craft beer, that sort of thing. It was a fucking brilliant concept. So the location was great. Their whole business model as portfolio was just they took the risk a bit too high with the next bar, basically.
All right.
So they were closing the bar. So pissed Hannah walks over and I'm like, are you selling the one down the road? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, can we buy it? And he was like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
He was like,
Showed
there's
him a
my
picture
card,
of your
ring me.
bath.
Yeah.
We're deadly serious. We've got a business plan and everything.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's going to work, but we'll try.
Yeah.
So,
but that timing, like even though you were pissed,
it was too soon though, really.
But again,
it was
just
too
looking
soon.
for the opportunity.
But the opportunity was there, so it was like now or never.
Yeah.
We were only, I think we'd only started Tiny Rebel up the year before, 18 months before. So we wanted to get a bar in like 5 years.
Yeah.
So
how were you producing at that early stage?
Was this garage?
No, we were in Maze Glass Industrial Estate. So we were in a unit like this size.
Yeah.
So it was a 1,500 square foot unit.
Yeah. Was that scary in itself? As in, like,
we walked in, we were like, fucking massive. We're never going to fill this.
I did that on my first unit. You think, oh my God, there's so much room. The kids were with me running around. And then like 12 months later, it's like, oh, we need some more space.
Yeah. I need to knock a wall. So that's what we did. We knocked the wall down,
And
took the unit next door,
Nice.
filled the car park, and we were like, shit, we need a actual brewery now. So that was then my role is to look for the new site. So where we are now in Rogerstone, that used to be a derelict trolley manufacturing unit. It was disgusting. We walked in like dead pigeons. Like it was carnage in there. It looked like someone had ransacked it.
Really? Did you knock down and build again, or did you have to refurb the existing building?
We knocked it down,
Yeah.
Kept the steels, took the asbestos out of the steels and rebuilt off the steels.
Nice.
So we did phase 1, which was the brewery side.
Yeah,
And
because
then
that's another
kept
story in it. Well,
producing.
everything's a story in itself. As almost like it's you know what I mean, it's grown, it's established, it's got legs, it's got an outdoor area now, and you've got the car park across the road, and
It's an amazing place.
yeah.
For
Yeah,
what it
it
is.
is cool.
Is that
It is
almost
amazing.
like what you feel like home is, as far as the Tiny Rebel kind of?
Oh, yeah, it was a proper labour of love. I mean, Effie was born on the Monday, and I was back in with her in a sling, directing the builders what to do by the Wednesday.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, good, we got to get this building done.
Yeah, I'm
And
the
we
only one
wanted
who
to be
knows where
open in
everything's
July.
going, so that's going over there. So if you want to put that down, that'd be great. You know what I mean?
So yeah, it is a labour of love, and it was, it did feel like home. And you know, it's like when you say about the kids, so the kids go there as a second home because that's all they've ever known.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that
And they love it
place.
as well.
Yeah, they do live it.
Is it
They
almost
really
mad to
good.
kind of that? It's been their journey as well, I suppose. Do you know what I mean? As in,
Yeah,
like,
it's been Maggie's life. She
Yeah.
was one when on her very first birthday, we signed the lease for Maze Glass,
no way.
Wow.
14th of February. So
It's so nice though,
sexy.
like, you know what I mean? And like, if you can sit here and like, obviously be where you'd want to be as the business you are now, but obviously with the kids, and it's like they've done it with you almost.
part
Do you know what I mean?
of it.
It's
Absolutely.
like you've not done it, and it's like, oh, they know kind of the struggles and the late nights, and oh, just jump on your iPad. I need to speak to this person. Do you know what I mean? It's,
Yeah.
Do you,
It's
do,
almost
do you get
nice.
a lot of that?
yeah,
Just because you are a big family and
Yeah.
conscious that it's you and your partner who do this together now, have done this together from day one.
yeah. So it was a lot of work.
We
And
like to,
it
we
was
like to talk about
difficult.
balance is why I ask. And I
Yeah.
wonder how you kind of strive to get a balance. Do you get a balance and how you make it work?
The balance just works, I guess. You just keep the kids in. It's not work, so it's not like a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
So that's what we wanted, was a lifestyle job, and that's the way I was brought up because my dad ran businesses as well. So
So it's all you've ever known, really.
it's literally all I've ever known.
As
Yeah.
in, like, you might have a couple of hours together in the afternoon, or you might pick them up from school, but then once they're in bed, you're back on the laptop.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And it's just the understanding of it, and it's not work when you love it so much. It's just not. It's just your life. It's like a hobby rolled into one. So.
I'm literally like the same. Like what you said is like, we talked about it on another episode, and like on a bank holiday, and like I love having time with the family, but like, you know, when you have too much time
Yeah.
with no work,
you get irritable.
like on a Sunday, if I don't start drawing up lists or start thinking like, hang on a minute, let me write down everything I need to get on
We've all
top
got
of. Like,
ADHD.
yeah,
I do that on a Sunday.
I mean, like Sunday brain dump, I call it.
Yeah,
and then I send it
that's
to all
a
the
wicked idea.
Send it to all the guys. Don't get me wrong, it's all over the place because usually it's just on my phone. It's like, right, I need to go this is follow-ups, this is meetings, this is production, and like I just feel the moment I've done that, I feel relieved.
Yeah.
But like I'm then excited. Like I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm in work for 7 o'clock because I want to be.
Yeah.
And like the kids get it in a way. Do you know what I mean? They're still kind of figuring it out, but it's like, it's all for them. Do you know what I mean? While I still feel like this and I still want to work, I'm going to always, everything I've done, I've put 100% into. So I'm going to keep doing it.
Oh, that's wicked.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, you kind of growing up with your dad doing that, almost that's all you knew, and that's how you wanted to kind of carry on working. As in, like, yeah, family, number one, it's all for them.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's sacrifices.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it's like, that's what iPads are for. Because like, and that's it's like, I try to explain to like my partner Daisy, and it's like, when we try, like I'll try and finish early on a Friday, or I'll even try and have a day off to do something. But sometimes the phone might ring and like, I've got to answer that.
Yeah.
And she gets it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you can,
that's good.
You can put the best bit of time off or turn your phone off.
Yeah.
But I find that actually, like, it creates more problems when you do that.
Yeah.
Unless you've
You're
delegated
just
it.
going to come back to it.
Yeah.
And it could be a lot worse and actually take more time out of what you've got planned with the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you...
So
It
it's like-
is just understanding, isn't it?
It's just, what's the difference between answering an email on your phone or flicking through Instagram?
Actually, one's going to earn more money than the other. potentially.
Well,
the way I see it.
Yeah.
But it's also, like you said, about LinkedIn. I quite like LinkedIn
Yeah.
because I like, there's some shit on there,
Yeah.
but there's actually some really good connections. So I met a guy called Alan through LinkedIn. He owned a company, well, still owns a company called Grenade.
Nice.
So he
The bars?
became, yeah.
It's
Oh
not
my God.
Alan from Newport Market. It's Alan, the owner of Grenade.
There's a small, obviously this is your episode, but I just need to give some credit to this guy because they've just come out with the Oreo grenade bar.
He sent me a massive box full.
I just had one before we did this.
So good.
It is amazing.
Do you know
is
what?
amazing.
But a future collab.
It cannot be 1 gram sugar in that bar. I don't know how that's possible.
Maybe Hannah can ask Alan for you.
Yeah.
So Al's so good. So that's a really
That
weird,
was what? Just a connection over LinkedIn?
off the cuff.
No way.
Honestly, it was. I messaged him. Would be really good just to. It was just like I wanted to get to know you. Like I quite like what you do.
Send a request, little message box. Just,
And then
Please
got
make the
his
link
email
there.
address, and he randomly called me. He was like, I was supposed to have a call with a solicitor today. It's been cancelled. I've got a spare hour. Do you want to call? And I was like, fucking sign me up. So we're on a Zoom call. Anyway, ended up chatting. Got, some people you just click with.
100%, yeah.
Just got on with him. Ended up on the phone for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
There was no agenda as such.
There was no sales or like, we do this, this and this. You were just kind of getting to know each other.
It was just that. And it was just, for me, understanding how he'd grown Grenade and then and it was a completely different sector to Tiny Rebel to be but it's business is business. It's exactly
and
the
it's
same.
a product.
Yeah.
His story, like there might be a Grenade Tiny Rebel box coming out for the 15th birthday. Do you know what I mean? You might drop a Grenade bar in and put some Jaffa cake in.
Protein
April,
beer
we
is a
did
missed opportunity.
I know. Well, we did do a protein beer. And last April, we did a April Fool's Day with
Really?
Grenade.
Oh, nice.
Which a lot of people were like, oh my God, that would be amazing. So
Searching for it. I think the power of LinkedIn, I've always said, is underestimated. Like I was saying before, like I started my business in my back garden, and when you've got a bit like this, you've got an idea and you almost don't have any clients day one. Like I've probably got more than me, but I've got like 15,000 people on LinkedIn. And all I did is
I haven't. I've got more than you. No.
It takes a long time. Why I have loads of time.
He does, to be fair, I get tagged in so many posts now, so I know that you put the time in.
Yeah, but when I started, I literally used to spend my day, like no sales, no kind of coming up with brochures or ideas. Who do I want to work with? So I came from the world of working with shopping centres. And LinkedIn is the best tool if you use it right.
Yeah.
All of us today have probably received an automated message off LinkedIn, being like, hey, Hannah, really like what you're doing. It's so long, you just see the bottom of it. Do you know what I mean?
That's
It's
what I do, yeah.
I can help you out with invoice finance. Do you know what I mean? Hate it, but sack that aside. So what I did is I thought, okay, so I know the shopping centres have a marketing. I know the shopping centres have a marketing manager. The marketing manager has a budget they've got to use every year. They don't even know who I am at this stage.
Yeah.
But everything we do as Hollywood, a bit like all of us, is we've got very visual brands.
Yeah.
So, and to me, LinkedIn, it's even if you're scrolling through, once you've got that connection, if something looks cool, you'll be like, oh, that looks cool, I'll like it. Whereas if it's loads of words, you just won't even recognize it. So what I did is I just spent days and days connecting with people like marketing managers, shopping center managers, design agencies, other people who I thought might be helpful down the line.
And then put content out that would applicable to them.
And I've never pushed like hard sales because we're not salesy. Like I almost consider potentially, like all of us, we're all luxury. We're not a something you need every day to survive.
not
Do you know what I mean?
necessity,
We're not like bread and milk. We're like, if you want to
Yeah.
go for a beer, it's a pleasure. If you want nice photos, you got to pay for it. If you want something built, it's kind of, you need the money for it. So if you just kind of showcase your product very visually
To the right people.
and just kind of say, and I always just get in touch with us. It's not, $595 plus VAT for this week. Do you know what I mean? But like subliminally marketing on LinkedIn, and for me, it's the right people. Like, don't get me wrong, through COVID, we survived on doing domestic work, but Facebook and Instagram, I feel as though it's just a bit of a carousel. It's just like a gallery, which is great, and people will like it and comment it, but it's never really like
No, the business
where your
heads.
business comes from.
The decision makers aren't there.
LinkedIn, if you do it properly, that's the key to your business. And I had my first job off LinkedIn.
Did you?
A design agency in London. And a bit like you said of the Grenade story, design agency in London, been let down by a supplier. And I just put some pictures up of stuff that we were working on, or even like mock-ups. They weren't even real things.
Yeah.
And they were at a shopping centre. They were doing this like fashion show, and they wanted some giant letters ages ago. You might have said Rushton Lakes it was. And we built these giant 6-foot letters on the back of a nature reserve, covered them in grass and graphics. Built some like wooden sheds with flowers on for like the fashion show kind of pods. Did a big aerial display, and it was like a 45 grand job. And I did it in my back garden. Do you know what I mean? And like the client didn't know that, because rule number one of business, always look bigger than you are. Yeah. So you would never to be like, oh, this is our bath, and I would never be like,
Go back to the bath.
This is my back garden. Do you know what I mean? But like that stems from LinkedIn. And then off the back of that, it's like once you've got legs, but then when you're visual, do you find it hard? Like the first 12 months, would we all agree that like you haven't got the portfolio? So you couldn't make a brochure.
And you haven't got that history of backing to go,
you haven't got testimonials.
No, you haven't. You haven't got anything.
No.
You just have the faith in people and connections to go, let's try it out.
100%. I feel like I'm missing out here. I don't really have a bathtub story. I've just kind of like worked and lived out of the car for a year or so, building up a client basis, but nothing as exciting as a bath or garden.
Well, the same thing.
Have you got a bath in a garden now? Because if you have, you are smashing
you are making
it. You know what I mean? These are all like prehistoric times. But then you're behind the camera. Do you know what I mean? So like everything you take pictures of or create content for,
sure.
Potentially some of those photos, they're what have elevated those businesses to create their portfolio.
Crazy creative.
Yeah.
Craig
takes pictures for me. Like I'm the guy.
The funniest thing is when I'm at home and me and the missus before bed will be like lying in bed scrolling through our phones as you do, and I'll be scrolling through Instagram and I'll be like, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine. And she's like, I get the idea.
We can't do that because I'm so tired. I used to be the guy that'd be like, "Oh, take up my phone," and then like, so we just got our brochure back from print, and like you can see which are Craig's photos. Do you know what I mean? But then he was like, actually, for a brochure, for what we do, like you don't want it to look like too showcase and polished.
No, it looks great. In credit to you, it does look really good, man.
So I designed that myself.
Do you do a voice note when you do WhatsApps? Just a little inside conversation piece that we have going on here.
Do I?
How do you use
a
WhatsApps?
voice noter?
I'll always voice notes me.
Really?
All the time, yeah. So I used to be like, what the fuck is he doing? And then I realised like it is on the go when you're busy.
Yeah.
Then I also speak to, who did I speak to the other day? And they were like, look, Paul, our accountant, was like, I don't listen to voice notes. I don't listen to voicemails. And he showed me he had like 2,000 voicemails on his phone. I took mine off, but then somehow when my phone got nicked, I've got a new phone and
I've got
voicemail now. I never listen to it. And I also listened to someone's the other day. And he said on there, look, I don't listen to my voicemail, so don't bother leaving one. I was like, I messaged him. I was like, that's the fucking best answer phone message ever.
Yeah.
No, I WhatsApp.
Okay.
I don't even email much anymore. WhatsApp. Emails if I'm formal. You know you're my friend if I WhatsApp you.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and voice note. Yeah.
How did you get the recipient of the invite?
Yeah, no, WhatsApp's a way
yeah, we do WhatsApp. We did WhatsApp straight away.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
funnily enough, actually, going back to how good LinkedIn is, when I was talking to Hannah on LinkedIn, I'd send her a message and she'd see it. And then obviously, because how busy you are, but then LinkedIn doesn't remind you. Like, you know, if you open a message.
That's what annoys me. You've got to go through.
It's almost like going on.
Don't go on it.
You know, if you've got loads of notifications, just say you've had back-to-back meetings all day, you've got notifications off Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, email, missed calls. And you know, sometimes if you clear all, that never comes back. I feel like that's LinkedIn. Like you open a message and like it'll never tell you that like you've opened it, looked at it and not replied. So
yeah, there should be a way of highlighting going important. Keep that one.
Flag. Just a flag.
Yeah, like a flag it.
Like an inbox thing.
Yeah. And so then we went to WhatsApp, didn't we?
Yeah. And then life got much easier. And then turns out I'm your friend now because we're on WhatsApp.
You are my friend now. Well, actually, we saw each other at Ideas Fest.
Yeah. That was what did you think of that?
Oh, I thought it was amazing from the concept of what Fran did.
Yeah. Because I was saying to Craig, I went with Gary from Source.
Yeah.
And obviously we met up, but I was saying to Craig, Fran and Dylan, just absolute dream team when it comes to stuff like that. But I think they've absolutely smashed it because as entrepreneurs and kind of an event, it's everything you want, but without the boring fucking conference PowerPoint shit.
Yeah.
And the fact you actually feel like you're walking around and it's like a festival infrastructure.
Yeah.
And then obviously like you were sponsoring it and the speakers, insane.
Yeah.
Like first year to get like Stephen Bartlett there and John Caldwell.
And he was brilliant.
Yeah.
He was so good.
Didn't he stay like an hour after just to take pictures with everyone?
He was really good.
So
and Spectrum Sophie and
girl,
Hannah were there.
Yeah, almost like even if you just bumped into people, everyone in that environment, it's worth just saying hello. Or even if you like almost don't be shy in that environment. Do you know what I mean? Like anyone who's listening or watching, like if you're an entrepreneur, whether you started a business, whether you're 10, 11 years established, like going to something like Ideas Fest, you're surrounded with
like-minded people.
Yeah, but the people who are thinking the same as you, do you know what I mean? You don't want to be going to a hotel and paying £100 for like the best entrepreneur.
That's what I mean about networking. Like sometimes
it's horrible, isn't it?
It's a bit dry.
wankery and shit. And like, it's honestly, it's the modern day of chucking your car keys in the middle of the table, but instead you're chucking your bloody business card in. It's like, see where it lands. It's just rubbish. So
I'm never going to be able to go Dragons again with that analogy. Every Wednesday when we turn up for breakfast in the morning, I'm like, hi guys.
The next time someone says, do you mind putting your car keys out? I'll be like, that's a bit wanker. Hannah said that's
Where's this going?
That's not what we do.
hang on, am I in the wrong room?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a different, and I love that idea. It's a different way of doing it.
Yeah.
And when I got there, I don't know, how did you get there?
We drove.
Oh,
Did
well,
you get the train?
I got the train.
Oh my God, we met. I think actually I remember talking to you about it because didn't you have to walk from the train station?
Yeah.
There's no
2.5 miles.
taxis.
No
my
taxis.
days.
Is that why they've moved
Like an
it, do you
hour's
think?
walk.
I think so.
I think
and
it's Colchester this year.
It is.
I can't go. I've got a wedding.
Oh no.
I'm honestly devastated
Me and
because
Hannah
it looked
sent-
so good last
Me and
year.
Hannah
Oh,
sent
it
you a
was
picture.
so good.
But our goal is one day to do the podcast.
Yeah, we were thinking like, well, imagine like a live podcast on the
I'll
stage.
take your seat, Craig. That's what we'll do.
Yeah. After this, call Fran and be like, got an idea for you. Gap filler, close the play podcast live. Ollie and Hannah.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Special co-host.
let's
Imagine
do
let's do
that.
it. All right, we'll make it happen. If it doesn't happen, I'll
We'll
be
tell
sad now.
Fran. We need a room
We'll
when
make
we're
it
there.
happen. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
so we had to walk there. But anyway, I ended up meeting these two lovely guys who helped me carry my case.
Amazing. Because
we
where are
walked to the
you
wedding.
going from there? Were you going back to London or
Going
something?
to
Yeah, you were at a show in London.
yeah. So there was we had a
Exhibition
team
or
in
something?
London at a festival.
Yeah.
So I went back, but then I got the car and drove back down because the day before with trying to get there was horrendous.
That
But I
must be why
really
they've
wanted to
moved
come
it then.
back.
Because I don't know whether they've even announced it, but I think it's Colchester.
It
but
is, yeah,
It's in
yeah.
like a rural. But I love the set. If it's, do you know what I mean? And for them to do that in the first year, I thought they smashed it. But to be fair, like Dylan and
Absolutely.
Fran, like everything they do. So obviously the Startup Awards, the Fast Growth 50, the Great Entrepreneur Awards.
Yeah.
Like it's just, again, like if you're a business that isn't doing like even just applying for the Startup Awards or even just going and seeing what it's about. It's like you surround yourself with the best people.
Yeah.
Whether you don't have
Yeah.
a clue what you're doing, you'll bump into someone who can be like, "Oh, that's a good idea. I can't help you, but
I know someone
This-
who can.
yeah.
6 degrees separation. You'll always know someone.
yeah,
And it's just those people that are so, their connections are so good and their intentions are so good
Yeah.
to help people. That's it.
We speak about it all the time, don't we? It's all about your circle.
yeah." If you're,
As
not even
cliche as it sounds,
Yeah.
it does make things so much easier.
your
It's so
network,
true.
and if you spend time, but if you actually care, I think there's a difference. Like so many people out there will be trying to, you know what I mean, get your contact details to try and I don't know, like manipulate. Like just get their product in or try and sell their
Slingshot
services.
their brand or
Do you know what I mean?
service.
Whereas actually, it's like you get to know Hannah and get to know the Tiny Rebel team. You'd organically work out if there was a requirement. Do you know what I mean? Or and then if there was, it'd be a much nicer conversation. Do you know what I mean? But I make bespoke beer mats out of recycled wood. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, that's a cool idea. Whereas like, oh, have you seen our PDF on LinkedIn? Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
It gets a bit boring, doesn't it?
Yeah. The amount of coffees that you get through LinkedIn as well. Fancy coming for a coffee?
I haven't got enough time to meet 10 people for coffees about invoice finance. Do you know what I mean? I've never done it.
For a new water
I know what it's called so much. I've never done it.
Office supplies.
Office supplies.
Oh no.
Do you get hassled all the time? Like because of your status and who Tiny Rebel is as a business?
Status.
Status.
That's how
Yeah,
it's really.
you're massive. You smashed it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you should be
Verified.
very proud.
Do you know what? I'm proud of the team I work with for sure. It's
Yeah.
it's amazing. You're a product of the people around you.
Yeah.
You just are. And if you've got people that are so good at what they do, it just you up your game naturally.
Yeah.
So I get people chat but I'm like, that's what I did with Alan. Just
Yeah.
message him. I was like, I just have to just speak to you.
The best relationships are just the ones that come out of nowhere. Almost.
Yeah, and it was the same when I spoke to Phil. So a guy called Phil Dow was the CFO of Gymshark.
Okay.
So I was chatting to Phil.
Another
again.
name drop.
I know.
Another name drop.
Casual.
But,
Jeez, we're gonna get censored. We're gonna get demonetized off YouTube. We don't make any money yet.
but it was just having just connecting with them and being like, I just want to talk to you. I just want to get. How did you get there? I want to get there, but
And it's
I'm
not
not
about,
there yet.
oh, have you even heard about us? It's like, I'm interested in how you
I was
got
interested
there.
in him. Yeah,
It's
so
mad because people listening may consider you to be the top of your game, but actually we've all got our own journey and we've always got areas of improvement and
Yeah.
there's always someone that we're going to look up to.
100%. Where do you feel you are on your business journey? Do you feel like you know?
And I want to know what's next. It's like a two-way question there.
am I a business journey? I don't know. No,
Well, not
I
even business
still
journey, just
feel-
like life. Do you know what I mean? Do you feel like you're past the point of getting started? Like or do you feel like actually like the next 20 years is the big one?
I just feel now it's just still so exciting. There's still so much, and the more you learn, the more you want to learn. So I'm a bit of a I go back to being
must
a
such
bit
a
of
nice feeling
geek as
getting
well.
up, feeling like that every day. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but it's like same as you. Like you just love what you do so much, and actually, there's two ways of looking at it. When you wake up, it could be, oh fucking hell, this is shit, and I've got to do this again. Or you wake up and go, I'm going to make a fucking huge difference today and do something really good and help people.
I'm going to reach out to that person and
Yeah.
just see if there's anything there. But that mindset, I feel like whether it's Tiny Rebel, whether it's Hollywood, whether it's Craig Evans photography, it's you. Do you know what I mean? If you want to do something, and if you don't do it, you've only got yourself to blame. And I always think like you never know. And especially how we're talking about surrounding ourselves at the right events and networking. Like if someone sees you at events, say, oh, hi, I saw you on Close the Play podcast. Do you know what I mean? And I'm really inspired by your story. And it's like, oh yeah, thanks. You know what I mean? If you ever need anything, do you know what I mean? It might not be you that they need, but like you said, it's that you might know the right person.
But it's also just someone listening going, if they are a mum and like a single parent, or if things are more difficult for them, it's just having a conversation with someone to go, do you know what, you can do it.
Yeah, there's a way to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's just get the energy, get the belief in yourself, and it's that bit of confidence to go, fuck it, just try it. What's the worst that's going to happen? And if you can deal with the worst,
I think that's the reason why
carry
people
on.
don't do it, though. It's fear of failure. It's the confidence issue. It's wanting to get something perfect out the door. Like we've had that learning curve with the podcast.
Yeah.
But
I feel like everyone's got, if you've got a perfect life, like fucking hell, you know what I mean, you're probably boring and sat on your own
But
somewhere.
like no one has.
No.
It's that Instagram life of where they're all in front of the Eiffel Tower and with all shiny shit around. It's like,
it's not real.
Where's me and Ola there with like our bloody horde of kids around?
I know, yeah.
The kids
We're like, has anyone seen the minibus? We forgot where it parked it.
and like kids are screaming, fighting, or whatever they're doing, and it's just like you just got to sit back and laugh and go.
I almost don't.
It's reality.
Do you know what? Have you ever called someone and like, the first thing they do is apologise because they've got their kids with them? Mm-hmm. I'd say, I don't want you to apologise. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you can still talk, great. But if not, like, it can wait.
I'm genuinely like, same. I don't put it against anyone. I'm like, I'll catch you later. I get it.
Yeah. Whether it's the most important meeting in the day or whatever, like, do you know what I mean? Family comes first. And
100%.
And if like they're like, oh, be quiet, I'm on the phone. It's like, I'll call you back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or actually, it's like, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Just put the phone down.
I did a corporate governance diploma, so how much of a geek I am.
Bloody hell. I might have to open a second cam, man. I couldn't even say that. Mm-hmm.
During lockdown, because I was like, oh, I can't not do anything or learn anything. And we were still trying to work really hard to keep the business afloat. So, and I remember Effie, my youngest, being just sat on my lap for 4 hours whilst I'm on a Zoom call trying to make notes doing my corporate governance diploma. But
you did it.
Yeah, I did it and passed it. And I want them to have that understanding and to learn. Yeah. But from a young age as well, to know that you can go and do whatever you want to do. Yeah. And that sounds really wankery, go and just live your best life.
But you actually
not
can.
in that, but have the confidence to go and learn. And I would love the girls to get into an industry that isn't typically female.
100%. Yeah.
So I've been into meetings before and they've looked at me and gone, you don't look like an accountant.
Yeah.
And I've
you don't look like you brew beer.
Like, what does an accountant look like?
Yeah. It's the difference ridiculous. Though, isn't it, between when you enjoy something and then you want to further your education in what you're doing, as opposed to, as we spoke of at the start, being in school and learning all these different subjects that we don't enjoy. Like, you don't want to show up and you just go for the social. Yeah,
but that bit I still think's not quite right with regards to the schooling.
Oh, I agree with you.
I don't think that when we're teaching the kids or whatever,
feels like a very dated approach.
I don't fit the mold
to modern day living.
I didn't fit the mold when I went to school, so I almost feel sorry for, like, I'm the most practical person in the world and I don't want to write exams, so straight away that's not enjoyable for me. So my mindset going into exam is I fucking hate writing. Do you know what I mean? Whereas actually
it's
now,
not getting the best of you.
No, where like I got my best grade was a B, and that was in fucking drama. My drama teacher was like, "Oh, you go and you've got an hour, go and make a play, and I'll see you in an hour." And I was just wander off and just come up with some shit. Do you know what I mean?
Easy B.
My English teacher, she was like over my neck, being like, "Of mice and men." Do you know what I mean? All these fucking poems that mean nothing, and it's like it's all or nothing with school. And I feel like that's got to change.
Serious question, how's that working for your business?
What of Mice and Men?
Lenny, Mice and Men.
I've never even, I hear about it more than, I don't even know what it is anymore. Do you know what I mean? I remember it because it was drilled into me and I was like, you can tell me about it as much as you want, but I don't give a fuck.
I did have Mice and Men in school as well.
So
Let's go and see it in London. Really? Actually, that's the only bit.
It's like, weird that every podcast we drop a book and that seems to be all in this week.
If you want to see Mice and Men, 10% off code on below.
Oh, do you want a really good book? Have you read Shoe Dog?
No.
By Phil Knight?
I'm keen to find this guy that goes to the effort of reading books for you, puts them into a 5-minute video.
I will send it to you.
Yeah,
so
I'm
it's
gonna
called The
listen to it.
Productivity Game.
Okay.
So it's...
Any book, or is it just entrepreneurs business kind of?
It's all business based.
Okay.
So it's things like, the way we found it was a book called The Checklist.
Okay.
So the book basically is that. It talks to you about, and it sounds so fucking stupid.
And
but
this
it's
is for the car, as
clever.
in like you can listen, take it in, you don't have to make notes. And...
So the Productivity Game is a visual video, but it's on YouTube, and it's like, he's took this book and put it into 5 minutes.
We'll get the link off Hannah and put it below.
Yeah, it's really good. There's loads you can look at of all different books, but this particular book was really interesting because it just says what a checklist did, and they put it into a hospital in America where into surgery they'd forgotten bits when they go into surgery, thinking they'd remember. The surgeons are all over the place, and it was costing them millions every year. So all they did was write a checklist. So every time you went in, you just knew what to take, and it was so simple because you can't remember 50,000 things a day of what you need to remember. And it's things like, did I remember the cans to bring today? Or I've got
And you live by this every day now?
So now, I put into the bars, but a new system called Trail.
It's
So
just like
just
part of your training
remembers.
kind of thing, as in like you remember what's important.
Yeah. So then it in your brain, you don't think of the mundane day-to-day shit.
Yeah.
You can think of all the big shit stuff you've got to do, because all that mundane shit is on a checklist anyway. So you'll always do that.
Okay, I get you.
As in
So
like
it's-
daily boring tasks.
Yeah.
I got something similar like in the workshop for like almost like empty the bins, like clean the filters
And
on the
it
sand.
is,
Stuff
yeah.
that needs to be done. But if I've told you to do 5 other things that day, or asked you to do, it's not Nazi Germany or Hollywood. But like,
Dictatorship.
as long as this list is done by the end of the week, that's all that's kind of we ask.
Exactly that.
Okay, I didn't realise I was doing all these things.
Simple. You're doing them already?
I've not even read a book.
Well, you don't need to now because productivity game.
That's the whole 5 minutes summarised.
Next
You
one,
could just
you'll make
watch
it
the
boring.
summary. But that was really interesting. And then Shoe Dog by Phil Knight was just, he created Nike.
Oh, yeah.
And I was interested in that anyway because my cousin is the creative director for Nike.
I was about to
So-
say, I really like the creative stuff they do because some of it's really controversial.
You seen what was the latest one? Is it Tiffany Nike?
Yeah, that was a bit.
Is that a brand or is that kind of just a concept or just a bit of marketing?
That was just a brand collab, I think. But Craig, my cousin Craig, does all of the football stuff. So if you
Okay.
see any of the Nike advertising, he does all that sort of thing.
Nice. So you've even before Tiny Rebel, your family and friends, like everyone was smashing it. in their
Rockstar
own,
Games,
yeah.
Nike.
Right,
You've grown up.
But you don't even think of those things. You're just
Yeah.
like, oh, my brother makes computer games.
But
So
actually,
just-
like what they're doing is also incredible bits of
Incredible,
work. Like,
yeah.
do you know what I mean, on a giant like global scale.
yeah. So, and I'm incredibly proud of my cousin and how hard he works.
Do you
So
feel-
he's got he's literally says, I've got the dream job. And I'm like, yeah.
So coming back to kind of journey. So obviously it's not day one now. It's 11th year
Day.
birthday.
Yeah.
Where do you feel? Do you feel?
Where's it going?
It's almost like we don't want to be the people that ask like cringy, like wankery questions. But like, do you feel like you are where you are for year 11? But also, do you feel like where do you feel you are on the Tiny Rebel journey? Do you feel like have you got to get out now, or are you just gonna keep enjoying it until the day you don't? You then sit down and be like, okay, so
I heard on the rumour mill there was expansion in Rogerstone coming.
Well, there was. So there was that. COVID happened. So we bought the building opposite.
yeah, is that where? Is it
It's now the car park.
the car park? Yeah, I was gonna say, you bought the building opposite. There's no building there. It's
Yeah,
just-
no. So we demolished the building and we were going to redevelop that into a warehouse style. And then COVID happened, so we stopped that. That
Yeah.
became a makeshift car park.
Which is what's needed, really, because
It was.
when that's
Yeah.
when that's absolutely rammed on the weekend, it's
Exactly. I don't know how we coped with it before. I have no idea. And then behind that, then we bought another unit. So that's like our warehouse. So it is a little bit like game of Monopoly at the moment with that site. And we are landlocked a little bit because there's so many other businesses there. But
Is
you
it
know,
hard
we're
because
still-
that, like, you've almost got to look at what's around you first, as ease of like logistics, when actually, like, some things probably don't work how they could work like most effectively, but because the brewery's there and actually is, well, the unit behind will work for now. The forklifts just have to drive a bit further.
That's exactly that. Exactly that. You just make it work. And I don't know, you don't, again, go back to business plan. This one wasn't really in the business plan, but that changes and evolves each year on year. So
And is it a great location?
It is a
Obviously,
great
it's very
location.
busy for public footfall and things like that. But in terms of like your suppliers coming and
But when we first opened it, it was going to be an event space because my
Right.
dad was like, no one's going to go to an industrial estate and go to a bar. And we were like, yeah, fair.
Turns out Rogerstone is bouncing on the weekend.
And they keep building
Get your tickets,
houses.
it sells at your
It is
more houses go up, and
revenue.
you're like, here we go.
Yeah,
Every
more
event's
revenue than our
sold out.
Cardiff bar. So it's,
Yeah, we just finished fitting out. There's a Welsh nursery on Wern Business Centre on the top floor.
Yeah.
So we just finished the fit out for there, and then we just took the boys for lunch one day. And like, no offense, but I thought, we'll go because it'll be quiet and we can get something quick because obviously we're working. Quiet. It was rammed.
I know, honestly,
you know what I mean? But like you said, it's the offering and the setup is perfect. Like there's obviously a lot of housing and footfall around there, and there's nowhere to go. And even if people are just going in for food, I think everyone that I saw, and it was like a Tuesday afternoon or something, everyone was eating.
But the thing is, we wanted to create space that we could use. So it was like kid friendly. Bring your dog in because I've got a dog.
Yeah.
He shat on the carpet the other day in the office right next to Tom's desk. However, he does come into the office and mostly he
space is for
shit
him
everywhere.
as well, do you know what I mean? Like,
so it's just like, on the whole, you've got to accommodate for everyone. So you can have, and it was the same as our Cardiff bar. So when we opened that, it was going to be completely chill. If you've got a group of solicitors in suits next to a group of students, everyone feels comfortable and okay. Yeah. And it did work. And you wouldn't walk in and feel out of place if you're in either group.
Yeah. And have you tried to keep the same kind of feel regardless? Because you got the brewery, you got Newport, and you got Cardiff. Yeah. And then what's number 4 then now?
Yeah, so we're looking at number 4 and 5.
Is it hard though? Because obviously, like the brewery itself, it's almost. Do you almost have to look at it as like 2 businesses now?
Well, we split them last year, so they were all one. Now it's Tiny Rebel and Tiny Rebel Bars as 2 separate.
Yeah, and obviously the brewery supplies the bars, but like as far as again coming back to like the family and the ethos and having that chilled out vibe of solicitors and students, like is it hard to look for number 4 now because you know what it needs to be?
Again, so I don't think we know what it needs to be because each bar is completely different. It's got its own. Because
in my head, I'd think like Bristol, hip hop happening.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, massive crafts industry over in Bristol, right? Every time I go over there, I'm doing bloody cider testing and everything else. I find very hipster over there.
Yeah, I always just think hipster, like very hip happening.
I think we can say that.
Yeah, can we say that? I don't know. If you're not hipster and happening, I don't know.
Well,
it's not wanky anyway, is it? Do you know what I mean? So
I went over last night to see my niece anyway.
Okay.
Because she's in uni there, so I thought I'd take the kids over.
Yeah.
And it is quite hipster, but she is quite hip. But it's a great city, and actually, as I'm walking around, it's absolutely bustling.
But I'm guessing, like now, obviously, Tiny Rebel being what it is, it's not just. Oh, should we put a bar there? Do you know what I mean? There's a lot that goes into it and there's a lot of figures and it's got to work how you want it, but then obviously financially as well.
Yeah.
Because it's a big cost to put a bar
I'm guessing you stock a lot of bars there.
Yeah, we do stock.
So actually you don't want to hurt them either.
But we stock more in London. That's our biggest.
Really?
Than Bristol?
Yeah, much bigger than Wales, bigger than Bristol. Yeah, London's our sort of hub.
So have you got like little offices everywhere now, or do you just have like business development managers
we've got our sales guy Sam in London and Boise, who's in Manchester.
So Sam in London's a busy boy then.
He is very important. Sod is really busy.
He's loving his life, but he's also like the busiest guy. Yeah.
It is.
Can I ask, what is the drink of choice? We're obviously drinking tropical.
We're drinking Club Tropica.
What is right at the top?
This is just the flagship. This is the one.
Is this the first one?
This is the bread and butter.
No.
What was the first one you made? Was it?
There was 2. Foo Bar and Urban IPA.
Bath Brew.
Yeah.
You could probably sell that's another business.
Bath Brew, actually.
Can you do an origin story and call it Bath Brew? That'd be sick.
I'm happy with 10% as well.
If you plug the podcast, you can keep the 10%.
We used to do a beer called NP10, which is 10%.
Nice.
It was actually a really good beer. So Foo Bar and Urban IPA were one of our first. Dirty Stop Out.
The names are wild. I'm not a massive beer drinker. I'm more of a cider drinker. And like one of my Tiny Rebel stories is went to the brewery with the boys and I was driving and I was just that thing, I'll get me a cider. And they came back and it was like a flat cider and I drunk it. And I was smashed. I think it was like, I don't know, something like crazy rocket percentage. Do you know what I mean? And I was just like, it's wild because it's like, just because it's on a pump, it doesn't mean it's like,
no thanks guys, I'm driving, only one.
Everyone else was right. I was like, Cardiff tonight. You know what I mean? So like at 4:00 in the afternoon. But the amount, how many products have you got?
Oh, fucking loads.
Do you keep them all? Like, because obviously, thank you for our birthday box.
You're welcome.
So is that 6 or 8 in there?
There's 8 in there.
So that's 8 new ones.
8 new ones, yeah.
And are they just for the birthday box, or are they now going to be on pump available to buy separately, or is that just when you do something like, I don't know, almost like a birthday, but like a celebration, like bespoke packaging kind of item? Is that only ever kind of a certain amount of cans, limited?
Yeah.
Or do you kind of off the back of that, you'll then be like, hang on a minute. So
you listen
everybody
to the feedback and the stats, right?
Everybody like Jaffa Cake, 11%,
yeah.
will then put it in their brewery. Is that kind of how you work? Or
yeah, so we got our core beers.
Yeah.
which are like electric boogaloo, which is my favourite. Okay.
Is that the passion fruit one?
That's it.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, you do know.
Yeah.
So we've got a core range, easy living. There's about 6. And then we do the rotational NPD.
Okay.
So, which is their birthday box. But with that birthday box, we're doing 120 tap takeovers around the UK. So there'll be all of those beers on keg in different pubs around the UK. That's mad. All pouring on the same day. So
how do you make that, and then how do you know what volume to make? Like, this is like, I'm not a brewery. Do you know what I mean? Like, just thinking
from
like
a logistics point of view, and
like you've obviously made, I don't know how many birthday boxes have you made? Have you limited it, or have you you'll make them all at once and they're made now?
Yeah, but they sell out. So
they've sold out, have they?
Well, they haven't sold out yet, but they will sell out because we knew what we did last year. So we just
a little bit more.
You just do a little bit more than last year
because you do like other limited products. Like I see all my friends buy into the advent calendars.
Yeah, that's really
massive,
good.
Doesn't it? I saw videos. It was like daily videos, weren't they?
Yeah, that was great. So loved the advent calendar this year, and and we try and do something different each year. So this year had a rotating glass at the front that opens another door for a beer, and then
the creativity just comes.
It's crazy.
It's tenfold. Do you know what I mean? Do you feel like proud, like you said, like every time, like?
Oh, I feel mega proud, and it's.
I didn't know what was in that box. Do you know what I mean? The box is cool, but it's like a brown box, and it's like
I don't know how you better that.
You pull one layer off, and then all the cans fall out, and then you pull another layer off, and then there's like a bespoke glass and beer mat. Like, do you know what I mean? It's almost like a collector's item. Do you have like OGs like?
And then it's like a board game inside it almost. Of how to mix them up. How's that what's going on?
People who turn up with like full Tiny Rebel merch on, like been there from the start, and just.
Oh yeah, I love that.
True
as well.
believers.
Any tattoos?
I haven't. Brad's got a tattoo. I've got tattoos, but not of the bear. Brad and my dad and my brother have.
Maybe that's like when you do bar 4, you have a tattoo artist.
No, I'm sure Subway did something recently I saw on TikTok, and it was if you get the foot long tattooed on you, then you get free subs for life.
Yeah, that's actually I saw that as well.
So if you get the bear on, it's like 10% VIP club.
If you get the
loads of
Tropica.
people have got the bear tattoos.
Really?
Yeah.
And I'm still like this.
I believe it. It's a cool design.
Yeah, I love the fact your designer's like still with you, and the fact it was like you saw that and you made sure you found out who actually did it, and like that's your brand till the day. Like it's an original brand, and yeah, I feel as though that's like integral.
And it's just it's that team. Yeah. You can't. That birthday box doesn't happen by one person. That's a team of people with input and ideas to get to that level. To
100%,
get to that.
Yeah. And we're like excited and buzzing over it, but like as like a company, you're really proud of it.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
like and
to see the
same
physical
with
product.
the advent calendar. Yeah. It took all of the brewers' input to make the most amazing beers. Yeah. The design.
Is there like a team of magicians then at times?
They are. Honestly, it is like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
I was about to say behind the scenes. You've got the Umble Umbers.
How many people are making the beers then? Because it's like to come out with so many new products. And also for them all to be like, and like I said, I'm not going to say I drink loads of beer because I don't. I like the fruity ones are yours, if I'm being honest. And I like the ciders that get me pissed on a Wednesday at 4 o'clock. But like, how do they, it's like constant innovation, no?
It is constant innovation.
Like, it's
and
a full-time
that's really
job.
hard.
Yeah. Especially when you've got like flagship products and products that you know this sells like 2.4 million cans a month or whatever. But to come up with something and like know that that's got a chance of doing well.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever created something and it just flop? Like like massive lows of the company.
But then we've either binned it first before it's gone out, which is a bit annoying.
Like
as well.
the internal kind of process is a lot bigger than what the consumer sees. Because I know, obviously you're massive on trends, which we love talking about trends.
Love a trend.
And didn't you?
Love a trend.
What was you did 3, didn't you? One of them, was it primed?
4.
4. Yeah. And is that just kind of looking at what everyone's talking about and just being like, I mean, like go to your magicians and be like, right, can you make something that we can brand up?
Did you actually release this? Or was it just for socials?
They were released, yeah. They were brewed and released.
What were they? You had like a primed?
Yeah. I don't even know if I'm literally allowed to talk about that one because we...
Oh, we're not. We talk about, you know what I mean?
But they're gone now. So we did release them and then they were discontinued.
Nice.
So it was only a short term.
Yeah. Get it while it's hot because you're never going to get it again.
Brand just
Do you know what?
Cheap
I feel Hannah missed a trick with the Wakey Wines. Releasing the primed beers.
Yeah, do you know have you seen Wakey Wines on TikTok?
No.
So
I've sent it to you.
I watched the last episode and then I say last episode, I don't know which one anyway, I'll send you a link. But we talk about it. I get basically this guy on TikTok sells cans of prime for like £100
each.
Well,
now
when
he's
we
doing
went to
PAs.
Miami at Christmas, the kids filled up the suitcases and brought back bottles. They were
Really?
like $2 over there.
A side
And
hustle
they were
in school.
selling them for 15 quid.
Really?
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well done. You know what I mean?
Well done, yeah.
We'll have to get them on the pod. We're all about entrepreneurs. Do you know what I mean?
Entrepreneurs, yeah, I was Luke
Yeah.
at the age of 14. So,
That's mad. So, Hannah, Tiny Rebel, 11th birthday. Do you kind of look at the business in like, do you break it down as in like the next 12 months we want to achieve this? Or do you feel like the opportunities on the next big thing just comes now because you're approaching like Grenade, or you're kind of, if you want to do something, to me, it feels like you're already speaking to the person that in 2 years you're going to collab with.
that wasn't predetermined or planned. That was just I want to,
For yourself,
I don't know,
though.
meet someone and make friends.
Yeah. For yourself. Make friends. I can bring beer. Do you want to be friends? Shall we? Easiest friend.
Yeah. So, and Al doesn't really drink, but I do send him beers anyway.
Yeah.
It's just, where are we going to be in 12 months' time? It's always hard work. That doesn't stop. And you need, if you stop and think it's going to move itself, that's bullshit. It's not going to move. You've got to keep momentum. It's same like, you must know, it's just, you have to keep going.
Yeah.
Otherwise, other businesses will take over you and you will
You're right. You
stagnate.
take your foot off the gas and then all of a sudden...
Do you have a
things-
direct competitor as such? Because obviously, as general, I'm guessing it's such a competitive industry, but obviously because you're established now, or is it just kind of, you almost don't need to worry about that because the way that you've done everything you have till this day, as in like the way you're growing, what
you've
you
got to
want to
always
achieve.
look around and see what everyone else is doing. So we're sort of around the Brewdog, albeit much bigger than us, in a different, same industry, same style of.
You almost don't want to
product, but
mention
different.
other people because it's not relevant, but actually, like when you look at someone to compare to, it's like
So we sort of look to our left and there's Beavertown.
Yeah.
So they're huge. They've just been sold to Heineken.
Oh, really?
So Beavertown was set up by Logan, who was a really nice guy. Same sort of similar. We set up at the same time. He once stayed at Brad's house next door to me when we were doing like festivals and stuff. So it was that sort of ilk. And then he sold his business to Heineken. But they're extremely well regarded brand.
Do you feel some people like it's fine because that was always the plan? As in, like it's not a problem if you have a good idea and then one day you just think like, I've worked my ass off. I'm happy of what I've achieved, and like thanks for the 10 mil Heineken. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got a new idea. Do you know what I mean? Whereas you, it's like such a passion. It's very like family orientated.
Very family orientated.
It's grown the way you want it to, and actually, it's like. It's not even a thought that crosses your mind. It's like, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're going to keep innovating. And I feel like tomorrow you could release a new beer and everyone's going to get behind it because everyone fucking loves Tiny Rebel because of how hard you've worked and what you've achieved. It's not just a beer. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like a culture.
No, it is. It's a culture, absolutely.
So it is, it is just, we are still a family run business and we still love what we do. So it's just, how do you keep doing that, but do it better?
And is that where you almost bring in like an expert almost if it gets to a point where like, hang on a minute, we want to make this next step, but we don't know how, do you then kind of start to tap into like industry experts as such? Is there such a thing? Or is it your own industry that you've created? So an expert you are the experts. Yeah, we
work different now. So whereas like all of us just bouncing around ideas around the kitchen table, now we've got a board with non-execs on.
Okay.
They're not industry based, they're outside of that, but and especially when he doesn't sit within our industry at all outside, but the questions he asks and the way he challenges us are the best. He gets the best from us in that way.
He doesn't care that but he doesn't know about breweries or what
so
you're doing day to day. Why are you doing this?
Yeah, why would you do it like that?
Everyday things.
Yeah.
Rather than everyone going, yeah, that's a great idea, Hannah. Yeah, thanks. So see you next week. Cheers for this.
And like, I don't want people around me. I want people to go, look at it. How do we do it better?
That's what forces
quicker,
you to kind of make sure you're doing everything right. And so 5-year plan?
5-year plan. The Hannah plan?
Hannah plan. Obviously,
The
Tiny
Hannah
Rebel
plan.
will be along the way, but like, are you going to do any more degrees? Do you want to? I feel like you've done like a lot of like self-learning and always tried to better yourself along the way, which is a really beautiful thing in itself. Do you know what I mean? But like, where do you want to be in 5 years?
I love helping startup businesses, and that was like meeting Dylan, Fran, and all of that part. I'm advocate for Newport.
Yeah.
I just do. I think it's just such a bubbling intercity that can change and move, and we just need to get.
Are you Newport born and bred?
No, I was born in Cardiff.
Okay.
But now I do live in Newport.
Yeah.
And I just think it's got such potential and we're just not tapping into it properly. So
we say it all the time, don't we?
Yeah, is that why you've kind of made an effort to stay here as a business? As in like where you
partly. Yeah, partly.
Obviously, it's whatever works for business, but like you started in Newport and you're still here.
Yeah.
Even though you're doing X amount in London, it's like Newport's at home.
It is,
which is a lovely thing.
Yeah, and there's amazing businesses here, and we don't know about it enough.
Yeah.
Probably more than Cardiff as well.
I'd
and
say
actually,
so.
with the bridge opening up, with more people moving over from Bristol, it's only going to get bigger and better. It's going to get more of a spotlight. It's going to get more funding. It's only going to grow.
I feel there's massive innovators and entrepreneurs, and it's almost like untapped.
Well, it's the biggest startup city in the UK, so it's got the most startups.
Why aren't we shouting about
businesses?
that?
But it's got the most failures. So we get the startups going, and then we can't sustain it. So that's the level we.
Is that the mentorship and the guidance and the advice? Like I feel like let's run it. Let's help these people.
Yeah,
I'm no one. Do you know what I mean? You're someone, but it's like, do you know what I mean? If there's that many people failing, like I can sit here and I'm lucky enough to be in like 4th year of Hollywood, and I've busted my balls to make it happen. And if someone like if someone's like had a great idea but it's not worked, like why has it not worked?
Yeah,
it might not be the idea. They might not have known the right person or had the right content or talked to the right people. So that's something that's got to change, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's also like that. It's hard work, like you said. It's such hard work. It's draining. So some people just go, fucking, I can't see past tomorrow. I can't see past last week. So I'm just going to check it in and go back to something that's more secure in a
9 to 5.
It's not for everyone either, though.
And it's not, but. The will seems to be there with these startups.
It's just about maybe an education gap then.
Yeah, and it's so I used to sit on the board of the NEN, the Newport Economic Network. So that was some big businesses in Newport.
Yeah.
We weren't that big, by the way, at the time. I infiltrated that. And I was like, I'm sitting on this board. I want to know what's going on.
Yeah, I love that though. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, you look at it now and they'd almost be like, they're lucky to have you. Do you know what I mean? It's like, Hannah from Tiny Rebel. It's like, but I've been there from the start.
Yeah, and you just learn loads of things about Newport and all the amazing businesses. And actually, the first meeting I sat down and I was like, we all don't know each other, firstly, which is shit, because we should do. And secondly, we should all use each other's businesses. Because if you're spending money in Newport, you're keeping money in Newport. So if you're spending money so the independent theory works. So if you spend £1 in an independent company, it turns to £5 in your local economy. Spend £1 in a big corporation, that dilutes to like 50p.
Yeah.
So you're not keeping the money in that local area. So the more you push that independence, it's like Newport Market now.
Yeah.
Push that independence, keep it going. And it's such an independent city historically, Newport.
Yeah.
We should be doing more to help that and guide it.
100%. But there's almost like, there's the idea, the entrepreneurs, and there's the platform, but there's a missing gap then, would we say?
It's this void, and it's how do we fill that void? How do we find it and then use each other's knowledge and expertise or network to get that going? And I just think it's
that
such
statement
potential.
I hear quite frequently amongst business heads in Newport, like even top level, mid level, whatever, and everyone's like, "Yeah, let's get behind this. Let's go and do this." But then actually, I don't know if it's like an affordability thing, if it's like a wages situation.
I don't know if it's just like consistency.
Yeah.
People just stop.
Yeah.
If someone had a good idea though, and they were like, I don't know, like, oh, I've watched your podcast, I don't suppose I can come and chat to the three of you. I'll be like, well, me and Craig, you might struggle to get Hannah. She's a busy girl. Do you know what I mean?
I always make time. I might have to bring my kids in, and then I'll be sad.
Yeah, we'll be like, we can all meet you. The 10 kids outside our house,
We got Xbox.
and the minibus, so you'll have to park. You know what I mean? But like, do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like reach out. Do you know what I mean? Because I was that person. Like, I was asking for the opportunities. I was being like, what are you going to do with your marketing budget? What can I show you some of my ideas? Do you know what I mean? And I feel like if you fail and you haven't reached out and tried your best, then like you said, like you just said, you'll make time for someone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like that's such a beautiful thing, because how busy you are, but actually it's like, it's nice to give back a bit, but also like they might benefit your business one day. So it's that full circle kind of theory.
You're right. And the more I grow my own business, the more I want to educate other people who want to get to my level.
Yeah.
So as you're saying, it's just a conversation piece that's missing, right? And
hopefully this is a nice platform for anyone to kind of see it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just an honest conversation. And that's kind of why me and Craig wanted to do it, because no one's willing to sit down and talk about the things that didn't work. Do you know what I mean? The hard times. It's like, oh yeah, I'm making this much and this is our profit. It's like, yeah, but why? What went wrong? Do you know what I mean? Like what are your highs? What are your lows? Like key words that me and Craig asking. It's like the lows are just as important, because someone listening or watching
It's the
They'd be
reality
like,
of
oh,
what we
bloody
do.
hell, like, you know what I mean? Like, Tiny Rebel didn't get their first unit for maybe like 6 months. Why am I week 2 signing a lease on a unit in Newport? Do you know what I mean? Like, take a minute, do you know what I mean? Like, see if you can borrow space in someone's unit. Like, try and think clever.
And actually, it started in a bath. So don't strive for perfection day one. You've got to start somewhere, and we've all got our own tell stories.
And everyone's still on a journey, so it doesn't mean like you end. It's just not ended yet. It's just got to continuous. But agreed. You should learn more from your failures, because if you're not failing,
Yeah. No, they're all learning opportunities, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%.
I think that is a really nice message to end on.
Yeah.
I could speak to you guys all day about this, and I think we've got a lot of things in common that we could go over and over. We do have 2 questions that we do end on. Do you want to go with yours first?
So you've got all the yeah, 1 minute, I'll just compose myself. Go on the spot though, listen to me. So you've got all the knowledge you have today. It's day 1 of business.
Yeah.
Back to the
But
bath.
I give you £1,000 cash. What do you do with it?
Oh.
Everyone says that, and I think I've probably the best question I ever ask anyone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a real mixed question, because like all your contacts, all your knowledge now, but day 1, before you've even poured anything into the bath, but you've got £1,000. So it's like 3 factors that are happening.
Yeah.
Is there any industry that you think is unexplored that you may have liked to have tapped into? Is there...
Or would it have just almost, I don't know, got you your first kind of order with the brewery and made your first cans kind of thing? Do you know what I mean? Just because having cash, no one
Is there
has
any like,
cash.
cheat code?
No one has cash. I would probably put it in a reserve pot, like a rainy day fund.
Yeah.
Being the accountant in me.
Just be like, I'll leave that, but I will tap into my network.
Yeah, but it's also just, how do you make your money work harder for you? Don't know. What would I have done with that £1,000? Probably we did Tiny Rebel because of Gaz's love of home brewing. So that's where it came from. And it actually came from his granddad, who was a home brewer.
Okay.
So it was a hobby.
It is very granddad thing, isn't it?
Is that still like ethos? As in, like every new idea is almost like based on the fact of like making it at home, like how the kind of process is. Obviously, it's on a massive scale now, but the initial thought of mixing 2 beers together and it tastes like a Jaffa cake. Do you know what I mean? The theory of that is like a homebrew, I suppose, isn't it? Kind of playing around with ingredients and playing around with flavors. That ethos is still happening year 11.
Yeah, and it's so yeah, I don't know what we've done with £1,000
Hey, keep
back
it. It's
then.
yours. You can have that. No, I mean, that's from me to you. All right.
Way back when, I don't know, everything felt massive. Like I go back to that Twitter story of our first 100 followers on Twitter. I honestly bounced in, and it was just our first year of getting £1,000 sales. We were just like, this is amazing.
Yeah, and people will be listening and watching and being like, what do you mean there wasn't Facebook and Instagram?
See, people wouldn't celebrate 100 followers now, would they?
No, I know.
Which is a shame, right?
I'm
sad.
still every milestone. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like there's a reason why
You've got to take all the small wins.
Yeah.
When you're starting a business, take all the small wins, because actually
the
all
bigger
the
wins
small
are
steps,
harder.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
If
then
you
it
don't
sort of
appreciate
dilutes
100,
itself a little bit, and it's like staying grounded and humbleized. And I read about this guy last week. He hit $1 billion revenue, and he'd had his Ferrari he'd always wanted, and then he was like, don't fucking want this.
Yeah, then he had it and it didn't mean anything anymore.
It didn't, exactly.
You
So
hear
he
about
went
this
and
with
bought a
gold
Honda
medalists.
2010 or something. He was like the first car he'd ever had. Went and bought a Honda. He was like, it grounded him. And you've got to do those little things every now and again to it's like reset yourself.
What do you do to ground yourself?
Last year, weirdly, I didn't buy any new clothes.
Nice.
I had a year of going, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm going to wear and use everything I've got. And
Did it work?
yeah. So now I look at things and I'm like, I'll only buy if I absolutely want it. And trying to get away from that luxury and need. What do I want?
Yeah,
what do I
need?
That's what
actually
you need.
need?
Sure.
And I want to change my thoughts on, I just want to travel more with the kids.
Yeah.
I don't want them to have stuff. Like I don't want them on their phones in the evening. So I've just went like bitch mum and like
I'm the same.
banned
Literally
phones after 9.
last night I came in from work and like the kids, but one of them was on a laptop, one of them was on an iPad, and then like I just come back from London, so I'm all excited and buzzing because like it went well, and like I try and share the journey with the kids, like to a certain degree. Do you know what I mean? So I'm saying, oh, we quoted for this job, and it's potentially the biggest job we've ever quoted for, and then you're saying the amount, and they're like, oh my God. £20,000. You know what I mean? It's not £20,000. But then it's like then like for the next 10 minutes after, like Daisy stood there with like my tea that she's made for me, and for when I get in, like past her, it's going cold, and I'm like grabbing like a snow globe or something to try and talk business to them, and I'm like, whenever you hear a number, like whenever you hear £20,000, I was like, you want to be excited about it, but that's not your profit. So then we're going around the living room and I'm like, if you buy this for £9 and you sell it for £9, you've made no profit. So then I know Delilah will be in school today talking to her mates and being like, if you bought this pencil for 50p, you would make no money. But if you sold it for 60p, you would have a £10 profit. And that's net profit. And I just think, do you know what I mean? I think just if they can take away beautiful segments of just...
And just getting the kids, but I've done that as well. So actually on Monday, I've got our financial advisor coming over to teach the kids.
Wow.
No way.
So,
That's cool.
Like I go back to school, so we don't teach kids in school
That's
what
a
I
niche
think they
service in
should
itself,
be learning.
right?
Yeah.
I think they need to learn. I get maths and all that sort of stuff, and it's all important, but it should be like a life lesson of, right, this is real life and it's going to be hard when you leave, so you need to learn how to save, and you should learn how to save when you're younger, so it's a habit formed and you just do it naturally. You don't even think.
100%.
I didn't do that growing up. I was out every week getting hammered on a Wednesday.
Yeah. On a Monday, buying bars in Cardiff. I love it. I'll take it.
I'll have to. But I wish I'd learned that younger. So I know my kids are young. Like the youngest is 6. So she's like, I don't want to meet John. And I was like, tough. You're sitting and you're meeting him.
Yeah.
Just so they can get into that thought process
It's
of
amazing.
compound interest,
Really
which is
amazing.
really boring.
But I just think the world isn't set up to work this way, is it? Like
How
want
do you make it
They want you
work
to go
for
to
them?
uni. They want you to go get your 9 to 5.
I'd love for school, it's maths, science, PE, life lessons.
yeah.
You don't have to wait till your options and then choose business. Do you know what I mean? And even that I feel is like, it's a fraud. Do you know what I mean? Because you cannot say business studies. That is, you do that every day if that was your subject. Do you know what I mean? Like business studies, like life lessons. And it's not even about business. It's like, okay, so a mortgage, how do mortgages work?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? How does...
And I still don't know now. I'm about to remortgage because mine's up and I'm like, oof.
Mine's up in October. Jesus
Our last
Christ.
podcast was about this. Yeah.
Mine's going to double.
Yeah.
What rate have you got at the moment? Do you know?
Well, literally, they sent through the quotes like, this is the best I can get. And I'm like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. So it is double.
Yeah. Mine's like 1.83 going up to, well, the base rate's 4%.
Yeah. So exactly that. So
Minimum
like,
4%.
how much more can it go up above 4%? But then, back when the year I was born, or maybe just before, when my dad set up his business, interest rates were like 10% or something ridiculous.
And everyone had a good deal. Yeah, funny that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but people couldn't pay their mortgages because it was like so expensive. So how we can't go back to, well, we might go back to that, but
it doesn't feel like a good deal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, especially when you're on a mortgage and then it's like, oh, it's going to double. Hang on a minute, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I'm just paying more interest.
Yeah, but like life lessons, like, do you know what I mean? Like the three of us, let's go to the Senate and tell them. Do you know what I mean? Like
need to change the curriculum.
They need to change it, and I feel like the world would be a better place because of it. And it's not even like going in depth, like talk about mortgages, and if you're interested in business, like don't get a teacher, like. Get Hannah from Tiny Rebel to come and tell you about how she started.
I'm doing a talk at the Senate actually in March, so I'm going to bring it up.
Oh, yeah.
Ollie said.
And I'll be like, I'm Ollie, it's me.
As long as you plug the podcast, then I'm happy with
I
that.
will. Don't worry.
So,
Plugs everywhere.
Last question for you then,
Yes.
because I appreciate we are taking up your time and you are a very busy lady.
Yeah.
If there was one piece of advice that you could give to anyone listening, whether they've got a business or starting a business, that would maybe help them with their momentum day to day, if there's any like ethos that you live by day to day that you could share, that's it.
The ethos I've got an inordinate amount of energy. So I wake up and I'm just like bouncing bunny because I'm just like happy that I woke up, kids are happy, content, and we're extremely fortunate.
Yeah.
The ethos is on the shit days, let them go. They're going to be really tough. It's like that. Ever heard of the gold coin effect? Mm-hmm. So just get rid of them. Just anything. Don't build up anything that's bad or negative. Just let it go as quickly as possible and just focus on the good stuff and learn from any mistakes, but they're not bad. Mistakes
Almost
are
allow any mistakes. So
they're like or any
opportunities.
failures. Just be like, yeah, and we should actually celebrate failures a little bit more and not even if the people are setting up businesses and they are failing to that point, but not use that failure as a bad word.
Yeah, almost be like, this didn't work, but how to overcome that is this.
Yeah.
And that comes back to kind of when someone gets like a massive failure in their business plan, that stop them in their tracks.
You say in any industry, they're just learning opportunities.
Exactly. And you don't know what you don't know. So until you start learning more, and it's just,
and the more you know, I feel like the more you need to know. Do you know what I mean? Which is you're probably a great example of that. Like as you get bigger, oh, bloody hell, we need someone who can help us with this. Do you know what I mean? But you never knew you'd need that person until it's happening.
Exactly.
So-
And that self-development thing, I love. I'm doing my ILM 7 now, so that's it.
Okay, you're really up there.
Bloody hell.
So I like
You
doing
make me
it,
feel
but
like I'm not doing enough.
I know. We have to
Trying
go
my
away
best.
and roll in a course.
Trying to work. I've got the pod. Do you know what I mean?
Head over to
Bloody
the
hell.
college now.
Can't take after the kids.
Re-explore that drama.
Exactly. I've got B.
the B.
No, but Craig will clip that and I'll be like, oh, listen to the podcast with Hannah. All they got to be in drama.
They'll love that in Dragons.
Yeah. Hannah, thank you so much for your time.
Honestly,
I've loved
really,
it.
really
Thank
thank you for
you.
coming, and obviously thank you for the gifts as well.
Yeah.
We'll 100% share them. But yeah,
The
really
birthday
amazing.
box, I'll get Craig to take some cool pictures
We'll
and put it
plug
on
it
the end.
together.
Oh yeah, do that.
Yeah, really excited to try that. Thank you for your time.
I've loved it.
Really
Thank
excited
you so much.
to hear about your journey and just your passion, which still feels like it's almost just started for you, which is such a lovely thing to hear because birthday 11.
I know. Old now.
You're old, yeah. Here's the 12. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
We will see you very soon. Let's close the play.
Let's close the play. Thank you so much.
Cheers, guys.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Hannah.
Bye for now.
Cheers.
Cheers.